Next, we're going to talk about SMS and sort of building customer relationships through SMS. I'm super excited for Brian Walker, who is the Chief Strategy Officer at Bloomreach. Brian is a friend. I've worked with him on various projects. He's super knowledgeable. I'm super excited for him to talk to you about SMS, which candidly, I think anybody who's been on the CommerceNext text messaging over the last 24 hours has probably gotten a masterclass in how many times you can text somebody. But I'm really excited to hear Brian talk about Bloomreach and their strategy on SMS. So please welcome Brian.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. We're in the home stretch. It's been a great show. If you haven't gotten a fresh headshot, I would encourage you to go by the Bloomreach booth. I think it's been great to see so many people getting updated images for their LinkedIn and social media. I want to talk about winning SMS strategies and really to think about how to take your SMS programs to the next level. As I do that, I want to start with some numbers. 144. Anybody have a guess at what that number represents? It's the number of times we all check our phones on average a day. Now, if you break that down, that means we're checking our phones about every 6 minutes. So obviously, maybe we shouldn't check it that often, but it's obviously a very personal experience for each one of us. In fact, almost 90% of us are checking our phone within 5 minutes of waking up in the morning. I'm not sure that's a best practice. I'm not sure that's advisable, but it's just instinctual. It's how we're all behaving. Now, 11% of marketing messages now in North America are being sent by SMS. That's, of course, a relatively small number. And yet, 93% of consumers actually are responsive to opting in to SMS from brands and retailers that they engage with. So there's a bit of a disconnect, right? Not only is this a very intimate channel in which to communicate and reach customers, right in their pockets and handbags, but consumers are actually open to it. They're willing to opt into the brands that they enjoy and that they appreciate, or the retailers that they work with frequently. SMS is, of course, a channel that marketers are investing in. It's the leading channel with which marketers are investing in right now. And that's good to see. Obviously, it's important. The challenge, of course, is that many marketers are really thinking of this as a siloed channel, and it tends to stand apart from the rest of their marketing communications and the rest of the customer journey. And that's kind of an opportunity and a challenge. Now, why should you care about SMS? Well, just like we've seen with omni-channel consumers, right? Being worth 3 to 5x a single channel consumer. When you add SMS as a marketing channel, you're likely to see about a 25% bump in lifetime value in that customer. When you add SMS in addition to an email opt-in, and you're getting them to engage across more than one channel, such as stores and your digital properties. So it's another meaningful way, right, to cement the relationship with the consumer and opt in. Now let's talk about the strategies to maximize the impact of SMS. First and foremost, as I said, it's a very personal channel. When you get a text message, you're obviously much more likely to check it right away, and it's intermixed with text messages from family and friends and close colleagues, right? It's something very personal. So you as a marketer really need to think about how to treat that channel as a very personal communication with the customer. Time the ask. When are you asking for the opt-in? Don't just pop it up at the homepage right at the jump when they hit your site for the opt-in. They're not even yet really fully engaged and immersed in the product and the brand messaging. Or in a store environment, obviously there's timing can really matter. And even waiting 30 seconds to a minute and a half after the customer starts to engage drives 5 times more opt-ins than when you present it right away. So think about the ask. Think about making that more conversational and personal for the customer. As I said, treat it as personal communication, not as a marketing blast. If you're treating it as just an extension of your marketing campaigns and you're not doing segmented communication to the customer detects that right away. They feel like you're just treating them as one of many, and it feels misplaced with the channel. It feels misplaced with the intimacy of the text messages that I'm getting on my phone. So you really need to think about how to drive a more personalized communication of the customer based on who they are, what they're interested in, what preferences they've shared with you. And the more of that you can do, leveraging solutions like CDP and CRM, the better. It's going to enable you to have a more relevant engagement with the customer, and they're going to be much more likely to click through and opt in and communicate with you. Another really important thing is to think about SMS, again, not as a marketing channel, but as an integral part of the customer journey. Not as a megaphone to broadcast with, but rather a way to engage with the customer throughout their journey. Maybe that's an abandoned cart. Maybe it's a follow-up email a few days later, SMS a few days later. And oftentimes we see the most success the customers have when they're using our solution is to time it. So in a sense, you may send an email right away, follow up with an SMS 6 hours later or 12 hours later, and balance the communication. And certainly from a service perspective, SMS is obviously a very useful tool to engage with the customer post-purchase, not only order shipping notifications and so forth, but obviously following up with the customer and doing that in a way that feels very natural to the consumer and gives them an opportunity to re-engage. If you're able to get the customer to repurchase within 120 days of their initial purchase, you're likely to see a 5x return on lifetime value for those customers. Your metrics may vary, but that's what we typically see. So SMS becomes a very interesting tool to drive that kind of re-engagement with the consumer. You, of course, need to measure the attribution of these channels very accurately. And really the only way to do that, and I know that's kind of a complex slide, but it's really to tie all your data together. Your offline data with your online data and be able to bring all of your different marketing channels together in one environment to measure the impact of these communication, measure the impact of campaigns, and get down into the segment level so you understand how the offers are working across all the channels and obviously how the channel itself is working. This obviously also gives you the backbone to start to optimize each of those channels, to optimize send time, to optimize channel, which consumers are more likely to respond in which channel, and obviously to package that with product offers and marketing offers that are more likely to stimulate them to engage with your site, engage with your product, and purchase. So attribution is really tied in with your ability to drive personalized customer journeys and drive higher lifetime value with the customer. And when you're able to drive that repurchase, you're turning a customer from potentially an unprofitable customer or perhaps margin neutral to a profitable customer. And that's why SMS can be such an important tool in your toolbox when it's integrated with your marketing communication and customer journey, is driving profitable customer relationships. I think another really important thing for us to be thinking about is how to turn these channels into conversational experiences for the consumer. And I know it's sort of like a drinking game here at CommerceNext every time we mention generative AI. But clearly we're at the cusp of a new set of tools in our toolbox to transform the customer relationship that we have with the customer. And certainly taking a channel like SMS and turning it into a conversational channel with the customer at scale presents a tremendous opportunity. And I think there's many different ways in which generative AI is going to impact our industry, but one of the reasons why I'm so profoundly bullish about the impact of generative AI is because I think consumers are going to come to expect conversations with you all through these digital channels very quickly. And SMS, of course, represents a great opportunity for us to be of service to the customer and obviously enable that with marketing and personalization and to do it in a very natural way. with clear visibility into the product catalog, into the content you have available to the customer to support them, and to link all of your different channels together in an environment like mobile. These examples are actually from our lab at Bloomreach, so this isn't like publicly released product yet, but will be soon. But it's a functioning prototype leveraging large language models paired with Bloomreach's search product and our marketing toolbox, our customer engagement solutions. And we're not the only vendor who's going to have these kind of capabilities. But certainly for marketers, this presents a tremendous opportunity to transform what was really a blast channel like SMS, or frankly even email, into an opportunity to engage and have a conversation with a customer. Driving them to your stores, driving them to products that are relevant to them, and to engage in a dialogue with them, which of course we're all very used to doing in a channel like SMS, and then convert those customers into products that are relevant to them, meaningful to them, with reduced return rates and higher profitability for you. So this is coming, in my estimation, very quickly. And as consumers start to have these kind of experiences, they're going to feel very natural to them. They're going to kind of forget even that there's technology behind this, leveraging large language models and generative AI. It's going to feel like they're interacting with a very knowledgeable, empathetic customer service person or salesperson on the other end of the channel. And for you as marketers, to enable that at scale presents a tremendous opportunity. So this is coming quickly. And the reason why I think that's important is making sure you have the right solutions in place to support this kind of evolution of a channel is going to be very, very important. Looks like I'm running a little ahead of time, but I want to talk about some key takeaways. One, make SMS personal. If you're treating it as a batch and blast channel, you're going to be limiting the effectiveness of SMS. Customers are likely to mute it, unsubscribe, and not pay attention if they don't feel like this is a personalized experience you're able to deliver. Number two, integrating SMS into the full customer journey. Don't treat it just as a marketing channel. Treat it as a service channel paired with marketing to drive a personalized experience that integrates into their other channels. And third, prepare for a kind of evolution/revolution in how you're engaging with customers in a conversational way. SMS may be just one of the channels in which this becomes meaningful, but it's certainly a terrific way to experiment with that, and certainly is going to feel very natural for customers as they engage this way already with friends and family. And making that a conversational experience for them is going to really engage them and make your brand, make your business a service to them that they're going to regularly return to. And in a sense, it may become the greatest opportunity you have to express your brand, your product differentiation, and embed yourself into that customer's lifestyle. And I think it's going to be coming very, very quickly. One last thing, a little bonus. Love to invite you all to subscribe to my newsletter. It's free, and I pair a cocktail with every issue. Lately, I've been writing a lot about generative AI, so if that's a topic you're interested in, how it's going to impact product discovery, customer engagement, and your marketing channels, I've got some pretty long articles in there. So, I reward you for that with some history, background, and some great cocktail recipes so that you check it out every week. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. As I said, I'm running a little ahead of time. I think I was too concerned about having too many slides. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to take them. Oh, there's one way in the back. I can hear you. I'll repeat the question. So the question was already getting customer service inquiries and responses via SMS, and today you're routing those kind of in a more manual way to customer service, and you're asking what is the best practice. Today, I think that's what you're doing is unfortunately kind of the par for the course. That's what many marketers are having to do. At Bloomreach, we have a way to sort of trigger queues and sort of customer service solutions that we're integrated to, and certainly some of our competitors have similar solutions to automate that kind of a process. But like I was talking about with turning these channels into conversations, there's an opportunity now to incorporate your knowledge base into these environments and enable the conversational UI to respond in a very natural way to a query. Oftentimes that's a pretty basic thing like order status, for example, or how do I process a return? 95% of those responses are going to be something that you can automate relatively easily, even today. And certainly in the near future, that's going to become even more effective to kind of hook up your knowledge base, some of the common responses, the links and things that you want to enable the channel with. And then there may still be a handful of exceptions that you're going to want to route to customer support. And then you can automate some of those processes so that it's easier and faster for the customer support people, and you can ensure that the customer is getting, communicated back. Hopefully that helped. All right, wonderful. Other questions?
One over here, Brian.
Oh, there we are.
Are there any key brands that you see being able to
Yeah, the question was, are there any key brands that we see being really effective with these channels? Honestly, most of the brands that we see with SMS today are largely treating this as kind of a marketing channel. But here at Bloomreach, we have a number of clients in the UK, for example, that are really starting to implement this more conversational style and starting to really drive personalized messaging through the channel. So one I would call out would be Boohoo Group. Another might be Next, who are using these channels in a more conversational way, and again, really focusing on personalization and tying it into their other channels. So those would be two that I would highlight as good examples. There's a question here.
Is there kind of like a happy medium of how much or how often to text? Because I find like there's certain brands that I get text from now that it's either every day or once a month, and it's just either too much or too low. So how do you find that?
Yeah.
Question
is, what's the right frequency for SMS? Is it once a day? Is it once a month? And how do you determine that? The best way to determine it is testing, right? Within your customers. Some of you may have, depending on your product category, and for example, if you're in a high replenishment category with frequent shoppers like grocery, it may be very different than if you're in a luxury category with relatively infrequent purchases. So the best way to do it is to test into it. We actually find that with Bloomreach, when you're personalizing and targeting customers with relevant messages, you can actually send less and actually have better results. So results will vary by brand, so there's not one answer, but the best solution is going to be to test into it. And then each customer may also be different, right? So that's one of the things that we personalize within our solution is send frequency, send time, and channel. And customers will change over time as well. So they may be more responsive to SMS now, but if they know that there's relevant marketing messages in email, they may start to actually engage there more frequently over time. So, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's true. So the real answer is test into it and leverage AI to help you drive recency, frequency, and a channel that's optimized down to customer segments and down to very small cohorts. Well, it looks like we are about out of time. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had a wonderful time at CommerceNext. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for joining us here today.